Everyone thought Olivia loved me deeply. After marriage, she directly asked me to be a full-time homemaker. But the night her ex returned to the country, she went to a bar to confess her love for the first time. The crowd cheered, praising her as a new era woman brave enough to pursue love. "What do you take your current husband for?" someone asked. "Just a nanny," Olivia said with a coquettish glance. 2,000 yuan a month. Which domestic service company has such cheap labor? Laughter came from the private room. Standing outside the door, I laughed until tears came out. She said she liked me and would support me, but it turned out she was feeding me leftovers. I filed for divorce from Olivia in the 10th year of loving her. It all started because she underpaid my living expenses by 500 yuan last month. Where did the money go? To buy cufflinks for her ex. I found an exquisite pair of cufflinks in her car. A tourbillon cufflink from a high-end luxury brand. The intricately designed tourbillon movement was embedded in crystal glass, and the precise gears and bearings slowly rotated with the wearer's movements. I found these cufflinks while tidying the room before the Chiishi festival, hidden in an old wardrobe. We had little sense of ceremony in our marriage and rarely gave each other gifts. When I asked, she would say we were an old couple and too lazy to do those young people's things. When I found the cufflinks, I thought the cold-natured Olivia finally wanted to celebrate Valentine's Day. That night, I happily booked a candlelit dinner and sent her the address in advance. She didn't reply, didn't come, and didn't answer the phone. A friend sent me a screenshot of Olivia's moments. "Levi is so romantic. Usually, you refuse to go to the bar when asked, but you secretly went with your wife on Chi. When I clicked on the big picture, Olivia had posted a text on Moments, Chi, sending love. The picture showed two different hands slightly bent to form a heart shape. One hand wore the Cartier bracelet I gave Olivia that year, and the other was a broad hand with long fingers, obviously a man's hand. I didn't see this Moment's post. It was clearly blocked from me. By making indirect inquiries, my friend accidentally revealed the name of the bar. In the bar, I saw her walking into a private room with a man from a distance. I recognized him at a glance as Olivia's ex-boyfriend, Nathaniel. The normal distance for work and social gatherings is about 1.2 to 2 meters, but they were too close to each other. They could almost kiss or rub their faces against each other with a slight raise of the head. I didn't want to think wrongly, but with such actions bordering on impropriety, how could there be no spark? Olivia's smile also seemed unfamiliar. She had always been cold to me. I thought it was just her personality or work fatigue. But at that moment, I suddenly realized that it was just that I couldn't make her smile. When I entered the private room, Olivia's best friend joined in the heckling. "You two are so quick. Nathaniel got off the plane this morning, and you're together at night." Nathaniel's voice came after 10 years of going around in circles. "It's not easy for me and Olivia." The crowd cheered, and her best friend continued. "You have good taste if you like Olivia. She can make money in the company and independently support a family." I thought she was just vigorous and resolute in the workplace, but I didn't expect her to be so decisive in love. "She is indeed our new era independent, strong woman. It's a pity about your husband." The conversation took a turn and became heavy. "What do you take your current husband for?" someone asked. Just then, the waiter entered the room to serve wine, and the answer clearly reached my ears. "Just a nanny," Olivia said with a coquettish glance. 2,000 yuan a month. Which domestic service company has such cheap labor? Laughter came from the private room. Standing outside the door, I laughed until tears came out. I didn't go home, but waited for her at the bar entrance. She saw me far away at the bar entrance, then bowed her head to say something to Nathaniel and hurried over. As soon as she got into the car, she asked impatiently, "Why are you here?" I was unusually calm inside. "Didn't you say you had long broken up with Nathaniel?" Olivia frowned tightly. "What are you thinking? It was just a simple company gathering tonight. Nathaniel is the newly parachuted deputy general manager. We have established a new department and taken on new projects, so we have to get to know each other. Don't have such dirty thoughts in your head. Isn't it good to have more trust between husband and wife? Besides, you don't understand these things in the business world at home. The competition is very fierce now, and several companies are competing to poach him. Forget it. I won't talk to you." You only study recipes, so don't put on airs with me. The undisguised mockery and disdain in her words were almost like saying directly that I was inferior to Nathaniel. I looked at the changing red lights and the bustling road ahead and said nothing. After arriving home, Olivia slammed the door and entered the study. She was very angry. To be precise, she was covering up her guilt with anger. I didn't cook her hangover soup as usual and coax her to take a bath and go to bed nicely. Olivia often used cold violence against me, but at that moment, we were using cold violence against each other. It was a matter of who would break first. At 2:30 in the morning, the study door was roughly pushed open with a loud noise full of anger. She frantically threw the pillows and cushions on the sofa at me. Haven't I explained clearly enough? Who are you showing that dark face to? You think it's annoying, but I think it's annoying too. I feed you well and keep you just because I underpaid the living expenses by a few hundred yuan in the past few months. Is it worth it? Levi, if we can live this life, we'll live it. If not, we'll get a divorce. Okay, I interrupted her softly. Olivia was stunned. What? I emphasized and repeated word by word. Let's get a divorce. She seemed to be angered into laughter, and even her 8-character eyebrows showed disgust at playing this trick again. Get your situation clear. It's not that I can't live without you now. It's you who rely on me for a living. Don't threaten me with a hot head now and then beg me humbly when you regret it. Disgusting. She raised her eyebrows and glanced at me like a sticky plaster. Hurtful words can wound people even in June, and Olivia never understood this truth. The first time she mocked me like this during the Cold War, I was so angry that I trembled and almost cried. Later, I found out that this was just the least painful thing because it would be followed by my mother-in-law's veiled sarcasm and my father-in-law's passive-aggressive remarks, with the whole family sparing no harsh words. I took out the divorce agreement. I don't want a penny from this family, and I don't owe you anything. You had this ready long ago. Olivia grabbed the divorce agreement, and her alcohol-reddened face suddenly turned pale. But she couldn't bring herself to save face and apologize. She just gritted her teeth and picked up the pen. Levi, you have the guts. Her hand was shaking slightly, but she still managed to sign her name forcefully. I made an appointment at the Civil Affairs Bureau at 9 tomorrow, I added. Her hand holding the pen shook, and she broke down. You'd better not be the one who regrets it later. When I heard the sound of a glass bottle being smashed in the room, I walked out to the balcony, looked at the dim night sky, and lit a cigarette. The tip of the cigarette flickered on and off, and I smoked half of it while the wind blew away the other half. That Olivia and I had come to this point seemed to have been a poor turn of events. They all said I was a kept man. After my company went bankrupt, Olivia asked me to stay at home full-time. She was the only one supporting the family. She had to support her parents and her husband. Someone teased her that she might have to work until just before giving birth if she got pregnant in the future. In fact, I didn't care much about these rumors because Olivia said she liked the food I cooked, thanked me for taking care of her parents and 2 nephews, and said that her steady promotion was all because I was her solid backing. But she said she was a bit short of money recently and had difficulties in cash flow, so we had to tighten our belts in terms of money. I didn't doubt it. Even if I only had a few thousand yuan, I would budget carefully to barely maintain the quality of life for several people in the family. Yes, it wasn't just the 2 of us in this family. Her parents lived with us, and her brother and 2 nephews lived across the door. I was mostly in charge of the daily life of this big family. My father-in-law had to go to the hospital for follow-up visits every month. My mother-in-law liked to play mahjong and had a small gambling addiction, and the children were growing and needed to eat more meat. After deducting gas, water, and electricity bills, elderly care and housekeeping expenses, and a bunch of other expenses, I hardly had any money left in my hand, and it became even more difficult after the living expenses were underpaid. At first, I thought it was all my problem. I was frantically engaging in self-pity, thinking that it was because I wasn't hard-working enough that this happened. I thought I was not good enough for Olivia, who wanted to build a family with me. But once I accidentally saw her consumption records on a shopping app, there were one after another expenses of 4 or 5 digits. Starting from the beginning of this year, it was exactly the month when she told me about the cash flow difficulties. The shopping records were all men's gifts. Watches, cufflinks, running shoes, custom-made suits, all kinds of fancy things, but none of them were for me. I looked at my 10-year-old Citizen watch and the wardrobe that hadn't been updated for years. Alas, I was the number one fool in the world. The cigarette was completely out, and only a bitter smile remained on my lips. The next morning, I cooked breakfast as usual. Levi, I told you to buy sterile eggs. Do you just ignore everything I say? My mother-in-law dropped her chopsticks in a fit of pique, her face contorted with disdain. Instead of apologizing as I usually did, I let my words carry a hidden barb. The living expenses are tight. Sterile eggs cost 3 times as much as regular ones, but there's no significant difference in nutrition. If you still want to eat sterile eggs, you can discuss with your daughter about redirecting some of the money she spends on other men back to the family. Just then, Olivia woke up. What's all the noise about early in the morning? So annoying. I reminded her politely. Let's go, or we'll miss the appointment and have to queue up again. Olivia's eyes widened, instantly sober, her hair fluttering to her lips. You're that eager? I pointed to the mantel clock. It's 8:30. After today, you'll have your wish fulfilled. Yes, I couldn't be happier. Olivia snapped, storming to change her clothes. At least you have the sense to know I deserve better. She went into the room to get her ID card. My mother-in-law's frustration at being ignored reached its peak. Levi, why do you have to be in a mood? Olivia works so hard, and you're picking a fight with her. How could a grown man be so petty? If it wasn't for seeing how good you were to our Olivia back then, how could I have agreed to marry her to a poor wretch like you? Such bad luck. My young nephew also spoiledly threw a spoon. The milk is cold, and the eggs taste fishy. I stepped closer. My mother-in-law instinctively waited for me to reheat the milk, and the nephew waited for me to cuddle him, but I ignored them, dumping all the breakfast into the food waste bin. Watching their shocked, wide eyes, I smiled. Not satisfied? Then don't eat. It's time to stop indulging these bad habits. As we left, my mother-in-law was still cursing, standing with her hands on her hips like a fishwife. During the drive, Olivia and I barely spoke. From the morning's quarrel to the silence of being alone, this was our usual routine. Olivia kept her head down, scrolling through her phone. When she turned a corner, her phone slipped and fell. As I picked it up to return it, I saw she was chatting with Nathaniel. Her nickname for him was Baby. The entire chat screen was 70% green message bubbles, hers. I used to be someone with an overwhelming urge to share, telling her about the delicious food next door or the travel plans of our neighbors, but she rarely responded, often taking ages to reply. I lied to myself, saying she was too busy at work to check messages promptly. But today I realized she could reply instantly, just not to me. At the Civil Affairs Bureau, there were few people at the marriage registration desk, but the divorce line was a long queue. And Annie tried to dissuade us repeatedly. Couples can talk through their issues. Give your relationship another chance to heal. I smiled and said, there's no love left. 10 years. From school uniforms to wedding dresses, all the love has been worn away. The Andy fell silent. Olivia frowned at me, her expression complicated. Olivia and I grew up together. I studied abroad for a while, and when I returned, I happened to find her just broken up with Nathaniel, so we got together naturally. Olivia and Nathaniel were only together for a year. I thought such a short time couldn't shake my 6-year bond with her. 6 years. I was confident I could warm even the hardest stone with my affection. Later, I learned the laws of objective development don't bend to human will. Ice held close will melt into water to nourish the heart. But no matter how you warm a stone, it remains a worthless rock that will never bloom in spring. Finally, Andy said with regret, during a 1-month cooling-off period, you two are so well-matched, tall and handsome, beautiful and gentle. Don't let emotions cloud your judgment. You might regret it later. We left the bureau and went home. In just 2 hours, the house was in chaos again. Breakfast dishes piled in the greasy sink, sunflower seeds and peanut shells scattered around, tea stains on the floor, and a messy mahogany table. As my mother-in-law put on her scarf, she said in a prim tone, remember to mop the floor later. Look at this mess. The second son-in-law gave her a jade bracelet. The quality is incredible, so enviable. As she passed me, she deliberately sighed. Why can't you just? I ignored her and walked straight to the study to grab the luggage I'd packed the night before. What are you doing? My mother-in-law exclaimed, stunned. Olivia also froze. Where are you going? Home, I said simply. Isn't this your home? My mother-in-law asked. I looked at her. Hello, ma'am. Your daughter and I are divorced. From this moment on, this is no longer my home, and no one or anything here is my concern. Olivia, the things you gave me are in the cabinet. Let's part ways cleanly. I don't want to take them. Olivia spun around, incredulous. Do you have to be this heartless? They remind me of bad memories. I don't want them, I said calmly. Also, try not to stay up late. You're almost 30. Your body isn't like those young kids. You should focus on Levi. Who do you think you're lecturing me now? Olivia snapped, storming into the room to throw everything from the cabinet out the door, including my suitcase. Who wants your junk? If you don't want them, throw them all away. Perfect. One less mouth to feed each month. I can save more money. I laughed at myself. My mistake for caring. My friend, who sent me the moment screenshot, Daniel, my old roommate, contacted me and asked to meet at a bar. He ordered a bottle of vodka as soon as we sat down. Levi, I have bad news, he said. After a few sips, he seemed to gather courage and nodded slightly. Want to guess what it is? I ventured. You need to borrow money? He waved his hand. It's about someone close to you. Think bigger. It hit me. You found out my wife was cheating. He shook his head again. Worse than that. I gasped. You cheated with my wife. Daniel rolled his eyes. It is about your wife, but not cheating. After a long silence, I said, we're divorced. She's a stranger to me now. Just say it straight. Daniel swirled the ice in his glass, his tone grave. I have proof that Olivia was involved in your company's bankruptcy. We should have crushed our competitors, but at the critical bidding stage, our strategy leaked. After that, we kept losing bids. Our core technology was stolen. Other companies stole our clients. How else would someone outside our inner circle know our secrets? Didn't you ever suspect anything after the bankruptcy? These words sent a chill down my spine. My mind raced back to that spring years ago when I fell seriously ill after the bankruptcy. That spring felt like the darkest pit of my life. Overnight, I went from a promising young entrepreneur in City A to a debt-ridden failure. While I was hospitalized, my father couldn't bear the shock and passed away. After paying off debts, I had nothing left. My house was seized, my car auctioned, and I was penniless. I sat on the street, too broke to even buy a drink, contemplating suicide. Then Olivia appeared. She stuffed a warm rice ball into my arms, her eyes reflecting my desperation. Frost on my hair and eyebrows, red-rimmed eyes from sleepless nights, stubble on my chin, skin rough as sandpaper. Levi, let's get married, she said. Our relationship had been short, and I thought she'd break up with me for sure, needing stability. I looked up, meeting her shining gaze. I still remember that flutter in my chest, as if a traveler lost in a poisonous fog forest, despairing, suddenly saw the North Star guiding the way, irresistibly drawn to it. I'll be good to you unconditionally, Olivia said firmly. This light in my darkest hour made me devoted to her for 6 years. The bar's DJ started playing, the throbbing music hitting my eardrums. I sighed. Daniel, I did suspect later, but I loved her. Daniel was colder, more rational. He scoffed. The night before the bidding, I went back to the office to grab files. I saw Olivia leaving your office in a hurry. My memory of that night was fuzzy. I only remembered she'd gotten me drunk. Before the bankruptcy, I saw her meeting Nathaniel more than once, Daniel continued. Nathaniel was one of our competitors. After winning that bid, he skyrocketed in his career, jumped to a multinational company as a senior executive, and now he's back to expand the market here. Of course, these circumstantial evidences alone aren't enough to convince you. I tracked down Nathaniel's fired secretary, got close to him through work, and became buddies over 6 months. When he got drunk while we were complaining about Nathaniel together, he spilled the beans. A recording played. First the sound of glass shattering, then a man's curses. Who the hell does Nathaniel think he is? He's just a scumbag who climbs the ladder using women. Back at his old company, he made his ex-girlfriend steal business secrets from competitors, dumped her after using her, and even bankrupted that competitor. You think he got that transfer on merit? He slept with a female executive at the new company while juggling 3 other women. Disgusting. After the recording, Daniel showed me files the secretary had copied from Nathaniel's computer, including our various tender documents, technical blueprints for pending patents, and business promotion plans. My heart ached with each glance. Levi, pull yourself together. Stop running from the truth. It wasn't your fault back then. I've reassembled our team and started a new company. We're growing, and we need your technical shares. Daniel raised his glass. We won't just bounce back. We'll make Nathaniel lose everything. I didn't hesitate to clink my glass against his. The sound was crisp and decisive. After the divorce, Olivia didn't contact me. But our next meeting came sooner than I expected. At a class reunion, I saw Olivia enter on Nathaniel's arm. She ditched her aloof white-collar image for a delicate, lively look, while Nathaniel wore a tailored suit, hair slicked back perfectly. They made a picture-perfect couple. As soon as they walked in, the crowd cheered. You two are back together. I heard ages ago that Nathaniel was back, and Olivia finally got rid of that deadweight husband. True love always finds a way. Our wedding bell's next. I'm going to send out invitations soon. Nathaniel looked at Olivia in his arms. You'll all be invited to the wedding for sure. The crowd erupted again. At this, Olivia's gaze pierced through the room to lock onto me. I ignored her provocation and turned to chat with a new junior colleague, a girl Daniel had been recruiting since her junior year of college, who joined our company right after graduation. Olivia's face darkened, her smile flickering. Most people knew Olivia had been married, but she'd insisted on a low-key marriage, so we'd never held a wedding. After I became a full-time homemaker, I'd cut off almost all social contact. Levi, you haven't come to our gatherings in years. What made you free today? The class monitor sat beside me, subtly pushing me toward Olivia and Nathaniel. I freed up time from family chores, I said honestly. The monitor teased. Was your wife not supportive? Impossible. You're so good-looking. You used to be as popular as Nathaniel on the confession wall. Before I could reply, Olivia interjected with a sneer. Looks don't matter. He's just a pretty face, paranoid and petty. No one could stand him. No wonder he got dumped. Nathaniel glanced at me, feigning concern. Come on, Levi was brilliant in college. His startup had angel investment, and his company was thriving. Olivia snorted, and it went bankrupt in the end. Their tag team jabs tore open scars I thought had healed, making them bleed new. I swallowed the searing pain and smirked. Yeah, it went bankrupt. Guess I was unlucky to meet backstabbers and hypocrites. Funny how they call themselves honorable. What a pair of scumbags. Smack. Olivia slammed her wine glass on the table, her knuckles white. Nathaniel quickly put an arm around her, shooting me a provocative look to claim ownership. Sensing the tension, the monitor quickly changed the topic. Manager Nathaniel's been on a roll lately. You look refreshed. Flattered. Nathaniel pretended to be modest. Not as good as you say. The upcoming tender is brutal. Companies from Korea, Vietnam, and here are all gunning for it. If we lose, my position's at risk. Any hurdles? Someone asked. Nathaniel sighed. Technical RD and iteration issues. Nothing's clicking. I shrugged casually. Stolen goods never fit right. Their smiles froze. Nathaniel avoided my gaze, defiant. Levi, are you really doing okay? I looked down, feigning nonchalance. Pretty good. I picked myself up where I fell. I turned down a million-yuan offer to take care of home. Too bad, no one appreciated it. I regret that now, but I'm glad I woke up before I had to keep tolerating her shamelessness. The monitor clapped. Right. People who waste others' sincerity don't deserve happiness. The conversation shifted to relationships, with men and women alike sharing stories. Some female classmates even cried. Olivia looked conflicted, breaking free from Nathaniel to drown her sorrows in wine. She glanced at me more tonight than in all our years together. After the reunion, I called a designated driver. As I waited on the curb, she approached me as if nothing had changed. Levi, give me a ride home. We're on the same route. I waved to the driver. Sorry, my place is in South City, but my stomach hurts. She pouted, reverting to a coquettish tone. She thought I couldn't resist. She expected me to grumble, but still fetch her hot milk and a towel like always. Instead, I stepped back. We're divorced, Olivia. Strangers. Her face paled. We haven't even picked up the divorce certificate. After all these years, I laughed sharply. Years of what? Treating me like a dog, summoning me at will, tossing me scraps after you're done. You think I'd wag my tail for leftovers? She froze, the wind making her shiver. She'd used my research to please another man, ruin my life, then played savior when I had nothing, just to drain my last worth. She'd promised to shield me from storms, but she was the storm. Olivia, keep some dignity, I said firmly. In the rearview mirror, she stood alone in the cold night, refusing to leave. Without her makeup, she looked small and defeated. Bro, you're turning down a stunner like that. You into something weird, the driver joked. I rubbed my temples, feeling something like withdrawal. Letting go had felt like being torn apart, bugs gnawing at my bones, sleepless nights. But now I felt reborn. When you hit rock bottom, every step is up. Once I embraced that, work poured in with good news. Levi, we won the bid. We're saved. Daniel tearfully hugged me. He'd struggled for years. Job hopping, shady bosses, a non-compete clause that nearly broke him. At his lowest, he couldn't pay his son's medical bills, working days, and driving for a rideshare night. Gray hairs at 30. Our pricing and tech beat everyone. Remember Sophia, the junior I recruited? Her plan was genius. She tailored it to City A's market, way more relatable than foreign bids. He bounced around like an excited monkey. Can you believe it? We went head-to-head with a multinational and won. Nathaniel's face at the meeting was priceless. White, red, green. He kept bragging about guaranteeing the win, but reality smacked him hard. I smiled, but this was just the beginning. Nathaniel's debts would be paid in full, step by step. As I left work, I got a call. Olivia's parents had invited my mom to discuss us. I checked the date. The 1-month cooling-off period had already passed. Legally, if we didn't collect the divorce certificate within 30 days, the divorce would be revoked. Not on my watch. Stepping into Olivia's house after a month felt surreal, like entering a stranger's home. The kitchen was piled with unwashed dishes, the floors sticky and grimy. The entire house reeked of something sour and putrid, as if kitchen waste had been left to ferment. Before the divorce, I'd handled all housework while Olivia and her mother never lifted a finger. The worst incident was when my mother-in-law hosted wealthy friends for mahjong. They spat sunflower seeds on the floor as I swept, sneering that worthless men belonged to trivial housework. Holding my breath, I entered to find both sets of parents sitting on the sofa, the atmosphere stifling. Seeing me in a suit, with a commanding presence, Olivia's mother flinched. Her father spoke first. Levi, we know you youngsters love impulsive marriages, but divorce can't be rushed. After all these years with Olivia, I cut and coolly rushed. Why not ask your daughter if she's threatened divorce 20 days out of 30? Her father scrambled to reply. That's just childish banter. You're too serious, Levi. Can't take a joke. I stood, voice steady. I see. She's only a child in your eyes. With such a sharp tongue, who in the real world would cuddle her? And as parents treating a nearly 30-year-old like a toddler, can't she take responsibility for her own marriage? Maybe you should reflect. When others blame you, don't defend yourself. Make them justify their logic. Olivia's parents turned red, trapped in my words. But I wasn't done. Marching to Olivia, I snapped. This marriage failed because of you. The second your ex returned, you call me a nanny. But who begged me to focus on home, claiming your family needed a caring person. You soaked up my devotion while mocking my lack of ambition. How do you live with such double standards? Olivia, tearful, hurled our wedding album at me. Is this about the money? I'll pay you 500 more. Number 2000. Enough. Unbelievable. Even now, she thought it was about 500 yuan. Since she wanted to talk money, I'd spell it out. Living in nannies in first-tier cities makes 7 to 8K monthly. For years, I cooked, cleaned, and tolerated your family's abuse. How much did you give me? After expenses, I had nothing. Prices have skyrocketed, but you cut my allowance. Even beggars under bridges have more dignity. Olivia, be honest. Did I ever treat you badly? Whose fault is this? My mother, silent until now, stood trembling, eyes red. You've bullied him. Every call. He said he was happy here. How could you? She clutched her chest, pale-faced, nearly collapsing. After my father's death, she'd been recovering in the countryside. Olivia's parents must have pressured her to travel alone to the city, exhausting her. I scooped her up and rushed to the hospital, ignoring Olivia's family. At the hospital, as I handled admission, Olivia appeared, lip-bitten. Before I could move, she hugged me from behind, hands shaking. Levi, I'm sorry. I'll change. I pried her fingers off, mirroring her past coldness. Go cry to Nathaniel. I'm not your trash can. She shook her head wildly. We're just colleagues. I shoved her back, staring into her panic. I'm nearsighted, not blind. What colleagues text 800 times outside work? What colleagues meet in love hotels? My family's already ruined. What more do you want? Her face drained. What do you know? I said calmly. Locard's exchange principle. Every contact leaves a trace. Guess she went rigid. After sending my mother back to the countryside, I set my next plan in motion. I'd learned Nathaniel's boss was a female executive, mid-career, unmarried, often on business. Rumor had it she planned to settle down next year, and Nathaniel, years her junior, had promised her commitment. One morning, Daniel met the executive, Emma, under the pretense of collaboration, while I posed as his assistant. Charismatic and sharp, she made the meeting smooth. Afterward, a gift arrived on her desk. A diamond ring. Daniel feigned surprise. Emma, a friend at the jewelry store, said Nathaniel customized couple rings here for a proposal. Odd. They were shipped to the office. Her secretary chimed in. The sender said, It's for manager Nathaniel's girlfriend. I brought it here privately. Emma blushed, slipping on the ring, then frowned. Too small. Wrong size. Concerned, she visited the jewelry store. The clerk, a friend of mine, confirmed Nathaniel had indeed ordered the ring, but with another woman. The clerk, hesitating, said, Wasn't you, ma'am? Emma's gaze sharpened. Explained, clerk. He listed this as his backup contact. On the tablet screen was Olivia's number. Just then, Nathaniel called Emma. Baby, I changed my flight. Now, downstairs, surprise. Daniel and I exchanged a glance. Perfect timing. Emma maintained her poise, smiling professionally, but her nails dug into her palm. The facade cracked. She summoned Nathaniel to the mall and pointed at the ring calmly from the sofa. Explain who was with you when you customized these couple rings. Nathaniel panicked, but forced a grin. What ring, baby? Must be a mix-up. The clerk recognized him instantly. Nathaniel, our men's diamond rings can only be customized once in a lifetime. You showed your ID that day. Caught. Nathaniel switched to a syrupy smile. Fine. I wanted to surprise my girlfriend. Guess the cat's out early. The executive studied him coldly. Pity. It doesn't fit me. The clerk added, fueling the fire. The lady just tried it on. It's too small. He stubbornly insisted. I messed up the measurements. I'll pay to resize it. The clerk remained blank-faced. Sir, you brought another woman here to take the measurements. With each retort, the executive's expression darkened. Cornered, Nathaniel knelt. Baby, it's not what you think. Slap. The first slap landed on his handsome face. You use my money to keep a mistress. No. Slap. The second followed. Do you think a phone number isn't enough for me to dig up everything? It was a surprise. Slap. The third left him dazed. The executive rubbed her red palm, her voice icy. Remember your promise to be faithful? The last project I gave you failed spectacularly. This business trip, clients complain nonstop, and the progress is a mess. Is your entire resume fake? Nathaniel, I loathe useless posers. She grabbed her six-figure Hermes and strode out, heels clacking. Nathaniel turned ashen, pounding a glass display case in rage. The crash drew security. Furious, he lifted a stool to smash more until guards tackled him to the ground. He struggled, yelling wildly, eyes glassy. It's over. All over. The fall from grace came swiftly. After being stripped of power, the executive heard rumors of Nathaniel's workplace harassment and multiple affairs. The same arrogance that had fueled his rise now amplified his downfall. She even warned the industry, "Hire him and you're against me." Jobless, Nathaniel had the nerve to beg me for money. I kindly recommended several online loan platforms, including those offering nude loans. Soon, the class monitor warned me Nathaniel was borrowing from classmates under the guise of investments. Turns out he defaulted on loans, and victims were suing him for fraud. For Olivia, she faced constant bullying at work and quit amid gossip. Her salary had risen, but so had her spending. 1,000 yen manicures for 1,000 to 5,000 yen facials, 10,000 to 20,000 yen bags, endless clothes. Before, I'd managed her finances. Now unemployed and reckless, she drained her savings quickly, soon struggling to make ends meet. While they spiraled, I thrived. Patents approved, company shares, and a house awarded, wallet bulging. I upgraded my watch, phone, and even got a custom suit closet. Once I'd spent every penny on Olivia's family, now I finally treated myself. One evening, walking my dog, I saw Olivia at a street food stall, something she'd once scorned. "Levi." Her voice trembled. I walked over, bought a sausage, and fed it to my dog. The pup jumped happily, tail wagging. See, even a dog knows gratitude. Why couldn't she? She approached, hesitating. "You were right. I only wanted to reconnect with Nathaniel at first. I was naive, clinging to nostalgia. How he'd saved me from bullies, chased me in college, confessed publicly. When he returned, I craved that old thrill." Her sudden confession felt surreal. I had her hand on my wrist. "Why tell me this?" Voice quivering, she whispered, "I'm sorry for what I did. I was a monster. After you left, the house fell apart. No more hot soup. No one to remind me to take medicine. Every night, I'd wake up screaming, wishing it was a nightmare, that you were still beside me. I was wrong." She smiled bitterly, tears falling. "Levi, can we stop the divorce? I'm scared to lose you." Dusk fell, street smoke blurring her features, warm street lights gilding her hair. It mirrored the day she'd first saved me. But while she lingered in the past, I'd moved on. Holding my dog, I took a breath. Did you care about losing me when you used my designs to please Nathaniel? When you chased him shamelessly? When you mocked my scars? You're not scared to lose me. You're scared to lose your doormat. I turned to leave. She froze, guilt and regret twisting her face like a drowning woman tangled in weeds. "If you don't help me, I'll be driven to suicide by loan sharks." "Damn it. How is that my problem?" I snapped through sobs. "Do you hate me that much?" "Hate? You played with my feelings, destroyed my career, and left me broken. Why wouldn't I hate you? If forgiveness were that easy, I'd fly to Rome's Leonardo da Vinci Airport, smash Michelangelo's Pieta in St. Peter's Basilica, and take Mary's place holding Jesus. After the cooling-off period, I called you countless times. You ignored me. See you in court." I echoed her past cruelty. "Stop being disgusting like a leech." She crumpled, walking in the free night wind. I finally understood her past venom. Harsh words come easily when you don't love someone anymore. Now I fill my free time with sleep, books, workouts, and nature, not wasted love. Olivia's mother called me desperate. "Levi, please." She's starving herself, drinking nonstop. She always listened to you. Can you talk to her? We'll give you anything. Compensation, even role reversal. Let her take care of you. I didn't see this moment's post. It was clearly blocked for me. I wonder if alcohol can unearth the memories Olivia ignored. Like the time she was beaten black and blue, she only saw Nathaniel's self-directed hero rescue, but ignored me tending to her wounds, carrying her to the hospital at midnight, and kneeling to beg doctors for emergency appointments. Like when Nathaniel publicly confessed to her, she saw the dazzling youth igniting her youth, but ignore me paying for her post-breakup meltdowns, accompanying her to drink, and guiding her back on track. So, does the order of appearance really matter? I was there first in Olivia's life, backing her up countless times, yet she only saw the fleeting fireworks in the journey. One loud boom, and all that fell was ashes. I swept up the mess behind her while she obsessed over the fleeting spectacle. It doesn't matter anymore. I hung up and started discussing the divorce with my lawyer friend sympathizing with my experience. I've handled divorce cases for years, seen many bizarre couples, but few are this decisive. Most swallow their pride. Why? I asked. He adjusted his rimless glasses. Because whether they love each other or not, they've grown accustomed, even numb. Like misshapen fruits squeezed by foreign objects, they're deformed but perfectly fitted to the obstacle. Separating costs too much. At best, it's painful. At worst, catastrophic. Hope this experience doesn't knock you down so hard you can't get up. I cooked a feast for myself, took photos, and posted on Moments. How could it